Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This hummy and peace out to the rest of you. Um, you know who it is, what to press and why. Let me get straight to it. Black man, you're being blamed no matter what you do and what you don't do. You're being blamed for Ahmaud Arbery's death. Why do black men charge white men with guns? They don't look at the fact that Ahmaud Arbery had already been cut off or blocked off once by these white dudes. That's overlooked. The fact that they were definitely going to shoot this dude if he had turned and ran. That's overlooked. There was no right way for him to go. He was going to die no matter what. He was black in a white space. They didn't like him there. They didn't want him there. He didn't trespass. They didn't steal. We're still being blamed for that. Breonna Taylor. We're being blamed because that black man pulled out that gun and defended the house when he thought it was a home invasion or a robbery. The cops returned fire, which they should not have done, and then they killed her. He's being blamed for that by some of us. George Floyd. He's being blamed for having a fake $20 bill. Okay. None of these things warrants a death penalty. We're still being blamed. Now, there are protests, and while there are protests, we're even being blamed in the wake of that. Understand, black man, it doesn't matter. Because all of you right there in the States, I've lived there. I grew up there. I know what you're going through. Do I go to the protest? Do I go to work? If you go to work, you're a sellout. If you go to the protest, you're an irresponsible nigga. Especially if it's a peaceful protest. Why wouldn't you at work? But if you go to the protest and somebody else riots or loots, then they look at you, nigga, why are you niggas rioting and looting? You can't control yourselves. If you go to the protest and it is peaceful, then you're being asked, how come you're outnumbered by the white women, the white men, and the black women at the protest? Why are your numbers the smallest? You're being blamed by other black men, by black feminists, and by white supremacists. It doesn't matter what you do. So what do you do in a situation like that? Don't worry. You'll still be blamed for whatever goes wrong in America when you implement this, but it won't matter. But let me get back to the blame before I tell you a solution. It's something I'm going to point out to prove my case. George Floyd is blamed for having a $20 bill that was fake. Most people spending the counterfeit money at the consumer level don't know it's counterfeit. That's why it's counterfeited. Everyone that's ever dealt with this knows this. The police don't usually ask the spender. They don't usually arrest the spender. They ask the spender, where did you get it? But they don't right off the bat arrest them and assume that they knew it was counterfeit. George Floyd bought some cigarettes and he was still hanging out. He was still hanging out when they showed up. He was there. If he knew it was counterfeit, he would have left. Obviously, he didn't know it was counterfeit. So the cops were called. They showed up. He was still there. They didn't really check his ID, I'm sure. He didn't die because he had a previous felony. They didn't have time to go through all of that. There was none of this. When he was arrested because the cops were called and he was black. He was killed because Derek Chauvin was white. Politically and ideologically, he was white. The DNA sequence didn't make Chauvin kill him, but the political and ideological whiteness in his mind did. Definitely. Same for the other ones. That's a problem. And we're being blamed for this, and we're being blamed for the reactions to this, and we're being blamed for the 3rd precinct of Minneapolis being set on fire. We're being blamed for that? Are you effing kidding me? We're being blamed for this, but we all know that if it had been black people that stormed a police station, they would have all been killed. The police station would not have been set on fire. The bodies would have been burned before the police station ever got burned. But no. We know that this is the case. And we know this because in the 60s or the 70s, there was a Vietnam War protest in Chicago by white college students. They stormed the FBI field office. The FBI agents fled so as to not have to shoot white kids, and they left classified documents on the desk. This was how COINTELPRO was discovered, even when it was still classified and denied by the FBI. They do not kill crowds of white people. You can see a police car in a video being attacked by a white crowd, and the officer moves the car forward a little bit and throws somebody. But I'm going to tell you now, they don't run over that crowd. The cop cars that are being attacked and stuff thrown at them don't run over the crowd of white people. If they had been black people, those cops would have run them over. A white man went to a Salt Lake City protest with a crossbow, started firing it. He missed, he got tackled, got his butt whooped. He was sitting up there playing the victim when the reporters came to him. No, you're being blamed no matter what. You're being blamed by other black men. Some of you in my audience blaming black men for this. Fuck the shuck up. Assume that it's not us doing the rioting and the looting, because the St. Paul mayor already reported that for the first several hours of rioting and looting, arrests being made, all of them were from out of state, not out of town, out of state. It took hours before they finally arrested someone that was from the same state for rioting or looting. It does look like a conspiracy theory is true in this case, based on the arrest patterns and based on people being identified. And based on videos. Looting, that's everybody. But rioting where you destroy the property, no, that ain't mostly us. Mostly. And even then, the blame is still disproportionate. Black man, why weren't you at the protest? Oh, I was at work. Sell out. Black man, why weren't you at the job yesterday? I was at the protest. Irresponsible nigga. The protest was peaceful. How come you were outnumbered? The protest becomes a riot or some looting. Why are you niggas rioting and looting? You can't win. There's no right way to go. Now I'm going to tell you the solution. Repatriate. Sister Stewart, yes, I'm telling black men to run from the problem because there's no solution. You stay and fight. Well, you know, Micah X. Johnson stayed and fought. Micah Xavier Johnson. He stayed and fought. Nothing changed. Gavin Long stayed and fought. According to the official reports, I mean, nothing changed. The police brutality still continued. You can't win for losing. I mean, it's like there's nothing that's going to change this. So, black man, bounce. I'm not telling you where to go. I could tell you where not to go. Places that are hostile to us. Scandinavian, Western Europe, their hostility depends on whether or not you're 14% of the population. If you're 14 or more, they become hostile, conservative. If you're less than that, they tend to be liberal. Don't go to those areas. I wouldn't tell you to go to Australia. India, Pakistan, out of the question. The Arab world, it depends. I wouldn't tell you to go to Egypt, definitely. Shuck that fit. Libya is a war zone for everybody, not just for black people, so don't go. The rest of the continent, you know, it's up to you. Other parts of Asia outside of China, and definitely not China, of course, but other parts of Asia, it's up to you. What I'm saying is you pick the country, you do the research, you find out what's good for you, but do not stay there. And don't go to other places that have a similar mentality. And don't wait for sisters to join you, because the ones that want to go are either saving to go without you or they've already gone without you. Bottom line, Most of the time, we men are more neutral. But understand this too. You might be saying, "Oh, black heart, black mind. He's just too militant. He's too hotep." No, I'm gonna tell you how I know. I'm gonna tell you how you can know that what I'm talking is not BS. Number one, I'm not saying that we all got to go back to Ghana. I'm not even saying we all got to go back to Africa. I myself would like to see it, but I'm not saying that's what we got to do. Next, you you have someone you can ask. A non-black man is not biased in my favor. I'm an annoyance to him when he thinks about it. He is sick and tired of me if you bring my name up to him. Okay, fine. But he and I agree on one thing, though. If you are black and you go abroad and you are well behaved, you are well received. You don't fit the stereotype, because people will give you a chance. Don't fit the stereotype and you straight. He'll tell you that. That's true for sisters too when they go abroad. It's just a lot of sisters don't want to go abroad. Not to live. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that they understand that the thirst is not there. They only find any men thirsting for them in the black community of the West. And even then they realize that that's fading. And so it bothers them. But, they can, as friends go, they can go to other places and they can be treated well. And I think they should. I think they should try it out. They should look at countries that are great for them. I think a lot of African American women, if their attitudes are not hostile, would do well in Brazil. As far as friends go, as far as men trying to get with them, I don't know. That could take some time. Anyway, in any case, what I want to tell you is that in the end, black man, you got to bounce, because where you go is up to you. But if you are going to stay in the States, it should be temporary. You should be a responsible gun owner in the States for the time you've got to stay. But if you stay in the States, it needs to be temporary. You must understand that it's just not working. And most of you are staying in the States because of your attachment to mom, daughters, sisters, wives that don't want to leave. You know what? If your daughter's a minor, take her with you. The rest of them, are they grown, make them make a choice. End of it. Say to mom, I gotta go. You gonna leave this plantation, baby? Yep. I'm going somewhere I can at least be relatively more free than I am now. You wanna come, mom? No, okay. Feel free to come visit me. I'll come visit you, but I'm living over there. So, can you help me pack? That's what it needs to be like. Because believe you me, there are black women from the U.S. and from the U.K. and from Canada that are interested in living abroad. Actually, a lot of them, when they're interested in living in Africa. They're there. You know what? They're already saving to go without you, or they've already gone there without you. So you just can't wait on the ones that aren't willing to go. Sorry, you just can't do it. Take your country behind to that post office, get your passport, save your ducats. And in the meantime, it is a good idea for black people to go and move into the southeastern states so that we can eventually have political control over them. But it's still a part of the U.S. That needs to be a temporary solution. And that's with responsible gun ownership. Now, as far as going to Zamunda or Wakanda or creating one, that's going to take time. But what I am going to say, wherever your Zamunda or wherever your Wakanda is, even if it's off the continent, if for you it's Salvador de Bahia, or if for you it's Medellin or San Andreas or Cartagena, with high black populations in Latin America, or if it's certain parts of Costa Rica where the Garifuna live, whatever the case is, Wherever your Wakanda or your Zamunda is, when you do the research for the country, you'll find it. You need to start making your plans to go, and if you can go, you need to do it. Because believe you me, staying on that plantation just means you're going to continually be blamed for things you didn't do by people who know you didn't do it. Every time something goes wrong, they're going to look at you. Every time something goes right, they're going to look away from you. The assumption will always be made, not only by everybody else, but even by many of you, black men. The assumption is going to be made that whenever something goes right, it's in spite of you. Whenever something goes wrong, it's because of you. Black businesses don't open up in the hood. It's your fault, black man, because you ain't supporting the black business. You the man. What? So you supposed to just, because you're a man, you supposed to just change economies and laws of physics and stuff like that? Come on now. Every time a black business fails in the hood, it's your fault. Every time one succeeds, the sisters get the credit. Every time a non-black business opens and succeeds, it's your fault. And every time a non-black business opens up and fails, she gets the credit. That's all you have to look forward to, black man. And even other black men that are becoming conservative are going to look at you like it's your fault. But the credit goes to her. Why would you stay in that situation? Because reputation does matter. That being said, I hope that this helps you. I mean that from the bottom of my black heart and from the depth of my black mind. I hope this message helps you. Get your passport, get the information you need, save up, and bounce. If she chooses to stay, that's fine. That means she can protect herself, and a lot of them can. If she chooses to go with you, that's great. And do everything you can to make it easy for her. Black heart, black mind, black out. Assalamu alaikum. And black heterosexual male power specifically because they don't like it.